So, welcome everybody. Welcome to a Hot Song Podcast. Today is the 21st of November 2024. The topic for this evening is Fourth Eye. This is the third talk, or this is the third episode for covering the fourth eye. So, just a brief overview of what we're going to do tonight. So, the first week we kind of introduced what the fourth eye is and what it can do. And then last week, we actually went through some exercises so you guys have some practical experience of how to use the fourth eye. So this week, I'm actually going to start to present a healing model for everyone. So I'm just actually going to introduce the bare bones first. So because there is many more eyes that I haven't even started to talk about, because there is like fourth eye that we talked about, real eye and the fourth eye. There's also fifth eye, sixth eye, and seventh eye. So there are quite a few eyes. And so this model is actually can be used with all the different eyes. However, we only have up to fourth eye now. So that's why the model is not quite complete yet, but I just want to actually just introduce the bare bones so you can start to learn it and know it, because it takes discipline to actually follow that model. However, I find it is a useful model because it actually helps us to like do healing on ourselves or on other people in a more um it has a method to it. So we don't just say, oh, did we do it, or how is it? We like when you actually have a model to check, then you'll be able to cover more, like you'll be able to look at illness from different angles and be able to really help yourself and help other people to get to the point where you don't just get better, but you actually it's easier for you to maintain your own well-being. So you don't just wait until like there's something goes wrong, because when something goes wrong, it means it's already past a certain threshold. Whereas if you use this model and you check kind of more regularly, you actually can guide yourself into a get to the point where you don't need to get yourself to the point of being ill. You can actually kind of eliminate a lot of those suffering when you can actually catch something earlier. So the model, I'm gonna start to talk about the model now. Just let me share screen. Okay, so let's do this. So just a brief kind of talk about what the real eye and what the fourth eye can do, because those are the two eyes that we kind of know. So real eye, the emphasis is that the real eye is the kind of the door, the first thing to do to activate and to really get strong. Because if you don't really have the real eye strong, then it's kind of you don't have the base covered. So real eye, because the real eye is really your soul's eye. So when you are working with the soul, and all the other eyes is really about working with the soul. So real eye is the basis. So make sure that if you don't think your real eye is very strong, is to really go back to look at the previous videos about how to work with the real eye and get to really work with the real eye consistently until you actually can see things, can actually get information. So that's really the most important thing. is to get the real I really working for you and be able to give you the information that it actually can give you. So what can the real I give you? Real I is really more about physical aspects of energy healing. So, and it focuses on detecting the soul's influence on the body. And so that's what the real I can do. The real I is really about the working with, starting to work with the soul. And then the fourth eye is kind of the next level up. It, like I would say, fourth eye is a mix of both physical and spiritual. So it can see spiritual causes behind physical issues. For example, like if you have a sore throat or a throat that is that gets sore quite easily, it could be because of, something that happened in another lifetime that has it that your throat is your weak point in your body. So that's where the fourth eye would be able to see something like that of, something that happened in past life that has an influence on your the physical body, different body parts, whether something is weaker or stronger. So that's what the fourth eye is mainly for. So now the model. First, just want to introduce that for each illness, there are really at least four components to it. There's the physical part, and then there's emotional attached to it, and then there's mental and spiritual. So those are kind of the four parts at the very least. Because there can be other things that we can look at, but these are the four things that actually influence whether we get ill or something else, and what is or which part of the body is ill. I think there have been other people who have done the research and collated information that lets, for example, if the emotion is anger, then usually it affects the liver. So physically, even though the emotion is anger, but it affects physically the liver. Whereas, let's say if it's something else, let's say if it is a um, love or anything relating to relationship, it could either be affecting the heart or it could be affecting lungs. So different emotions has correspondence to different body parts. So we already know that. There's nothing new about that. Mental, what we think and the thoughts we think. For example, if we are always worrying or if we are always concerned about something, that is really, it adds stress to the body. So it will affect the physical. Whereas spiritual as well is if we are doing what it is that our soul wants us to do, then usually your physical body would be I would say most of the time it would be in relatively good shape. Whereas if what you're doing is really not what your soul wants you to do, then one of the ways that your soul can kind of get you to stop and rethink your life is really to give you an illness. So that's really one of the reasons why spiritual your spiritual things, for example, like your soul's purpose, can affect your physical body. So these are the four most, I would say, the, the four kind of the four pillars of um, things that we need to look at when we are considering how to provide healing for ourselves or for other people. So this is kind of what Sifu James would use to look at when he's trying to heal somebody. Of course, I'm just giving you the bare bones. There's only 4 things, whereas Sifu James actually look at about 10 things, maybe even more, depending on the illness. But we're just starting with the most basic, and then next week we'll add to it. So there's more to come next week. So the bare bones is really physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual. So when you look at an illness and let's say if you're saying, okay, my liver, for example, if I'm checking about my liver, and then, or I should say my heart, for example, checking about my heart. So, how do I know what it is, the health status of my heart? So usually a heart is red is usually an indication of a heart. Green is for liver. I think orange is spleen or something like that. So different colors may represent different organs. So if you look at somebody and you see a lot of red, and it's not a healthy red, but it's actually a murky, dark, or a very unhealthy looking red, then that is an indication that it's about heart, and heart is not very healthy. So you may like if you see color, then that may be an indication of, let's say, the illness is because of something to do with the heart. And if you look at the emotional state, let's say if it's a dark gray, then it could be, because usually gray is more about the emotional status is kind of more depressed. So usually light gray or dark gray, it's light gray could be confusion, and it really depends. A dark gray is for me it is about more of a depressed, or not even not maybe not as severe as depression, but more of a sadness. So that's what gray in emotional state is. And then let's say mental state is a murky color. So you're really looking at the color. Is it a bright color, or is it an unhealthy looking shade of the color? If it's a healthy shade, then it's probably means that it is fairly okay. Whereas if you see like dark color, murky color, or very convoluted color, then it is usually an indication of an illness, cause for illness. For spiritual is usually white color is the best color, or yellow, a golden yellow is the best color for spiritual, because those are really the spiritual colors. Whereas if it is a faded yellow or a very grayish white color, then you know that it is spiritually the connection is not quite there. So you can actually use your real eye to look at each of these columns and say, okay, physical health, show me what the um, physical health that I need to look at for this illness. So, and if if you have worked with your real eye well enough, you may be able to see color. And the same for all of these. So you kind of ask the same question. Let's say if the illness is, something, let's say it could be something, let's say depression, for example. And then if somebody's always depressed and really no zest for life, and you want to find out what's the reason for this person feeling that way, then first ask for, physically what needs to be looked at, and you get a kind of a reply or indication. And then next is to ask about emotional state. What's the emotional state that's contributing to this depression? And then same question, like same questions for mental state and spiritual connection as well. So for each of these four pillars, you would kind of get a reading when you activate your real eye. And then when you activate your fourth eye, you can go through the same thing as well, as to ask for this illness. What's the physical health, emotional state, mental state, spiritual connection? And your fourth eye will give you some information that is beyond what your real eye can give you, because the fourth eye is more about the spiritual side of things. Okay, so that's when you can, like when your real eye is developed enough to be able to see color. However, some of you may not be there yet, but even if you don't see color, you can still get information. Just at the very least, just ask questions like for this illness, what it is that you need to look at. So get a 1 or 0. 1 just means yes, and 0 means no. Okay? Or so you are the one that assigns the meaning to the answer. So if for me, I say 1 means is that there is something that I need to look at. Okay? So physical health, yes. Depression has something to do with physical health. Yes, emotional as well. But mental state seems to be nothing that I need to look at. But spiritual connection, yes. So you you are the one that can assign what is the meaning to the 1 or 0, or you want to use yes or no. So you're the one that assigned that. And you kind of teach your unconscious mind to communicate with you. So beforehand, you would say, okay, yes means that I need to look at it. No means I don't have to look at that pillar. Okay. So that's how you work with your unconscious mind. So questions so far? Any questions? Any things that you don't quite understand?
What if I don't see the colors?
Yeah. If you don't see colors, then just ask for yes or no. Okay.
What should I ask? The
For
color?
example, for example, so if you don't see colors, at the very least, get to like yes, no questions. Because if you at the very least can find out what a yes feels like and what a no feels like, there's a lot of things that you can find out. For example, I think one of the things that you can do in, let's say if you want to find out which, let's say for depression, which body part is connected to this depression. So what I would do is actually to divide the body into 3 parts or 2 parts, any number of parts. So the way why divide it, because when you divide something is it actually helps you to find the answer faster. So is it the first half of is it the first third of the body? Is the organ in the first third of the body, second third, or the third third of your body. So if you divide your body into three parts, then you just have to find out which part of the body is involved with depression. Let's say the illness that you are trying to heal. So then once you find the part of the body that you need to work with, then you go through. So let's say if it's first third, then it's the head, okay? The head or the shoulder. So then what are the major organs within your head? So you just go through those major organs and you would just say, is it the left brain? Yes, no. Question. Is it the right brain? Yes, no. Is it the hypothalamus? Yes, no. So, so then it makes it easier for you to narrow down which organ it is that you need to work with in order to start to make a difference with the illness. Does that make sense?
It's with any illness or only depression?
What was the question again? Sorry.
You said that, for example, with depression, we can go this way like with any illness.
Yeah,
Where's the reason of that illness, right?
yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. Yeah, so you're just trying to look. So four things that you need to look at for an illness, the physical part. So you want to find out which body part is involved. So that's the physical part, right?
Mhm.
You understand what I'm saying? Okay, so for the physical part, you want to find out which body part is involved. So that's how you find out is you divide the body into different sections and you find out which section you want to focus on. And then in that section, there will only be a limited number of organs. So you just go through each of them to find out which one is involved.
But usually we feel the pain, right? In special, part of the.
Usually, but not always.
Yeah,
However, even if you feel the pain, sometimes the issue is not where the pain is.
true.
Right? So this is really how you kind of find out which part of the body you need to work with.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Amy.
And then for emotions, the same. Is if you can see a color, then the color may be able to tell you which emotion it is. But if you don't see color, then there's kind of like a l- um, limited number of emotions that you can go through and say, okay, is it sadness, anger, greed, or worry, or guilt? Uh, so you just go through each of them and you get a yes, no.
Thank you.
And then for mental, usually if it's something mental, then one of the ways you can do is if it's, for example, depression, then it could be usually the mental reason is something that you you're saying to yourself already. For example, it could be, okay, I'm not good enough, something like that. Something that you kind of internal dialogue. If you listen to your own internal dialogue, you would kind of find out what the mental reasons are. So that way you can find out about the mental issue. For spiritual, it's a lot of the times is about connecting to our soul. And a lot of the times, if you do some meditation, then that helps.
Can you give an example for the spiritual?
Example for spiritual. Well, I already mentioned one is if you're not doing what your soul wants you to do.
Okay.
Yeah. For example, if you are always let's say you always if you are a housewife, but your soul actually wants you to start to be a healer, then like you may be able to, I would say, not do any healing work for maybe 5 years. But if you do it, if you consistently don't do it, then your soul would give you some wake up calls.
Um,
Let's call them wake up calls.
where does karma fit into this thing?
Karma could be more for either emotional, physical, or mental as well.
Okay.
Because there's some beliefs that is that could be something that's passed down to you from a different lifetime, so that can be more of a karma.
Mm,
Let's say if you somehow something happened and your family members die, and then in the previous lifetime, then this lifetime maybe you are very controlling because
mm,
you like unconsciously or subconsciously you still remember that if you don't pay attention, then you're like someone may die, something like that. So
mm-hmm.
that could be more of a karmic.
All right, thank you.
Vinny, what kind of wake-up call your soul can give you? How you can find out that it's from soul?
Wake up call. Okay.
You mentioned that if you don't do what your soul wants you to
Mhm.
do, but how can I find out that if I'm like unlucky or in a bad mood, how do I know if it's from my soul?
Okay, let me put it this way. Usually when a person has an accident, that's a wake-up call. They get in an accident, and that's usually a wake-up call. So if I remember, yeah, accident is usually a wake-up call. Depending on how severe the accident is, the more severe it is, I would say the more likely that it is a wake-up call. Because and also illness. More severe the illness, the more of a wake-up call it is. And why? Because as far as your soul is concerned, like you either die or you make changes. So because your soul is immortal, it never dies. So it's only the body that dies. So the when the body, like the person is not doing what they are supposed to do, one of the ways to really get that person to rethink their life is to give them something so horrendous that they have to stop. So, like a bad accident or something like a cancer. So that really makes them slow down because they're ill or because they have an injury that they have to stay in hospital or stay home for a while to rethink their life. So that's usually when that happens, then it's a wake-up call from your soul, because your soul needs you to slow down and change. Either you change or you die from whatever the wake-up call is. Either way, like, because to your soul, dying is not the worst thing in the world, because dying is just the body. You understand
For
what the wake-up
it's for
call is now?
everyone. It's for everyone. Everyone who got sick or got an accident, it's wake up call for them.
Not always. Sometimes, hmm, how should I say it? Yes and no, because dying is also another way of for the soul to say, okay, I've done what I'm here to do, so I am ready to, I'm done with this experience. They either make a big change in their life, and if their body is strong enough, then they will still live. They if they are if they make a big change in their life. But sometimes people, let's say, if I make a big change, I don't want to leave my family. I don't want to leave my friends. If they have a lot of these reasons or excuses. So then one of the ways that the soul can, take that person out so that they can go and have another experience is to die. So in a way, it is a wake-up call, only that it is the soul saying that, oh, okay, I'm done with this experience. You either stay and make big changes or you die, and so you come back again so that you can it's actually easier to die and then come back to make a big change, because making big changes is not easy. Big changes as in, let's say, moving from, your home country. Let's say if I tell you, Tatiana, your soul wants you to move to China. Like, are you going to do that? No, because your family members, your whole life is here. How do you do that? One of the ways, but if your soul actually wants you to do that, one of the ways it can do is to, die, and so that you can born in China or somewhere else where your soul wants to have the next experience.
That's how we moved from Uzbekistan to USA. Probably my soul wanted.
Yep. Yeah, because your soul is like, okay, I'm done. Let's move. I really like I distinctly remember that when I was 16 years old. Like I was done with Hong Kong. I was like, okay, I can't stay here. If I stay here, I'm gonna die. So I actually really looked at, I need to leave Hong Kong, and at the time my sister was already studying in Canada. So we co-created that. She actually got us all to emigrate over to come to Canada, because I'm absolutely sure if I stayed in Hong Kong, I would have died. I wouldn't have been able to live the life that I'm living now. So,
The same here. My sister moved in America.
hmm
I felt that I have to go.
hmm See?
Mhm.
Yep. Yeah, you may not consciously know that your soul wants you to move, but on some level, you just have that desire that, okay, I have to go. Mm. And you make it happen.
Yeah.
Actually, I can contribute to that too. When I was young, maybe 10, 12, I had this extensive meditation about living. At that time, I wasn't too much aware of Canada, but US, like I knew And I was imagining for so long, for hours, that I'll be living in, let's say, North America. And I had real good life or no real intention to ever immigrate to this part of the world. But now when I go back, I for years I would have this intense, like I would just sit and for an hour meditate that I'm here.
Hmm.
Yeah, very, very unusual. Yeah, you're right. It was something not present, but something that I wasn't even aware why I was doing it until now. You're bringing that topic, and yeah, I guess my soul knew that I had to move.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. I like at the time, like I was like 16. I have no idea what a soul is. So, but I just know within me that, okay, I can't stay in Hong Kong. I'm done.
I
Yeah.
didn't even know I was meditating, but I was just sitting and thinking of being
Mm,
here. I
powerful
didn't
lady.
have a clue what meditation was.
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Yes, I know. I know what that is. Yeah, I'm actually going through one of that now. I'm actually hmm Yes. Big changes.
Your soul call you somewhere
Yep, it's calling me somewhere.
in America?
No. Not in America. Yeah.
Where? Which continent?
Oh, yeah. Too early to tell you guys right now,
Oh,
but it's like I'm I'm feeling somewhere else already. Yep.
wow.
So that's why I've been busy. Okay. Any other questions before we go back to Okay, let's go back and share. Okay, so when you actually like have something like this, a grid, so you can actually go through each one of them, it actually helps, this method kind of helps you look at how to approach an illness, like any illness that is kind of serious, I would say. If it's just, a headache, you may not need to go through all this. But if it's something more serious, yeah, you definitely it's beneficial to be more I would say to be more methodical. So you cover everything about the illness. Okay. You can either, just how do you find out yes, no? Like different ways. You can use a pendulum, you can use a body sway, or you can use, just you can even use a just testing with your hand, or just usually how I test is I hold something in like close to my heart or in my stomach area, which like whichever part of your body is more sensitive, then you hold it to that part of your body and you would feel something. And that gives you a yes, no kind of answer. So if you don't know what a yes feels like or what a no feels like, you can think of ways like for example, it is dark outside. Is so think of ways that allows you to feel what a yes feels like in your body. So ask yourself a slew of questions where you know for sure the answer is yes. And then you just check your body. You calibrate what a yes feels like in your body. And then you ask yourself a question that you know for sure is definitely a no. And then you feel what a no actually feels like in your body. And when you really get to communicate with your body that way, to ask yourself enough yes questions, like that you know of, is a yes, definitely a yes, and then you ask yourself a series of questions where you know that it is definitely a no. Like when you do that, then you get to know your own body, what yes feels like and what no feels like. So that when you ask a something that you don't know the whether it's a yes or no, your body actually already knows. Why? Because we are already all knowing. It's just that most of the time we don't pay attention to our body. Our body already knows. There are usually at least a part of you that already knows whether it is a yes or a no. So it's only because we don't pay enough attention to what a yes feels like in ourselves and what a no feels like. It's a lot of the times we contradict ourselves. We definitely don't want to, go and let's say we definitely don't want to go and eat, I don't know, hamburger, for example. But because all your friends are going, so you decided to override yourself to also go with them. We do a lot of that. So that's actually one of the reasons why you kind of our body is very convoluted. But when part of the really getting to know your own body is to know when it is a yes. And even if you say, okay, I don't it's I don't want to eat hamburgers, for example, you know it's a no. So you really have to let yourself know, okay, I know my body does not want a hamburger now, but I want to spend time with my friends. So look out, body, hamburgers coming. So have that conversation with your body to really start to get the signal clear with your body. What a yes really feels like in your body, what a no really feels like in your body. And when you build up that trust with your body, then it's actually quite easy to find things out, even if you don't think that your real eye or your fourth eye can, get information. It's about building that trust with your body first, and then more will come. Questions so far? Anyone? If not, let's go to, okay, now that you find out what's wrong, so how can you heal? What can you do to heal? Okay. Okay. So heart is red. If you see color, red is usually about heart. Green is liver, blue is kidney, brown is spleen, silver is blood. Something like that. That gives you some sort of idea. Okay. So about the healing. So if it's about emotions, let's say the emotional part has an issue that you need to work on, then one of the ways that you can release emotions is really to go to fourth dimension, because fourth dimension is about releasing emotions. And if you find out that there's something karmic, then you guys already know, like when you activate your real eye and you activate the orb and turn it into a whirlpool, it can actually start to release karmic issues for yourself. And also for mental is you can release not mind release. So that would really let go of mental I would say mental conversation that is contributing to an illness. So usually for spiritual connection is to go to ninth dimension, because ninth dimension is the Christ consciousness dimension. So go to ninth dimension, then go there and get I would say, clean up your soul. Because when your soul is kind of bogged down with life on earth, go back there to clean up the soul so that you have a better connection with them. And last week we already went through a healing method with the fourth eye. So for healing any body parts, that's what we can do as well, is we activate the fourth eye. And so I think this is the one that we did last time, is we like using the fourth eye to heal a body part. One of the things that you have to pay attention is you have to actually, if you're healing someone else, you have to actually see that person or see a picture of that person or see something that actually represents that person. It could be that person's clothes or or something that is their favorite. You have to see something, because fourth eye is still about, you have to physically see it in order to do the healing. If you're healing yourself, then put your hand on the body part or as close to the body part as possible. If it's, somewhere, at the back that is hard to reach, then put your hand somewhere that is as close to that part as possible to do the healing. And the healing is really, to merge the fourth eye and the ninth dimension, and then activate either the person if you're healing somebody else or the body part. Activate it, and then you do the cleansing, clearing, and then purifying. Okay, so questions so far? No questions? Clear?
I have one question. So
Yeah.
when we are learning the procedure,
Can you speak louder, please?
yeah, when we are learning the procedure, it's okay to be reading it, yeah, like have the screen in front of us or the paper.
What?
When you are actually doing the processes, like for healing or healing self or anybody, you would have to read the steps, like to get used to it. So I'm saying the eyes would be open, like
The steps.
yeah, like just now, what you just read the last bit. What we have to do, like each.
I'm not sure what steps are you talking about.
Your last screen, you said
Oh, okay.
that's the steps we are following when we are trying to heal someone.
Mm-hmm. Well, okay. Let me get back to it. These steps.
Yeah. So
Okay.
I would have to read this to say fourth eye activate nine dimension. I wouldn't be able to remember everything in the same format. That's what I mean. So it's
Okay.
okay if your eyes are open, you're reading it and doing it.
Absolutely. If that's what yeah, sure.
Yeah,
Yep.
that's what
You can do that. Like feel it, like
yeah.
really feel the fourth eye being activated. So
Mhm.
don't just read it. Just, when you
No, no,
activate the
I know.
fourth eye, make sure the fourth eye is actually your palm is pulsing, or your fourth eye and your forehead is pulsing.
Right.
And when you go to fourth dimension, make sure you actually feel happy, because happiness is really, one of the hallmark of being in the ninth dimension. Like you would feel just joy. You feel like, okay, I just won the lottery, kind of, that kind of happy.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And do we actually have to do the cleansing, clearing, and purifying? Yes and no. Like when you're first starting out, I would say, yeah, go through all three of them. However, if your energy is like if you practice this enough, your energy is strong, you can actually skip cleansing and clearing and just do purifying.
Mhm.
Because purifying is really the most important thing. Like if your energy is strong enough, purifying alone can do the cleansing and clearing.
Yeah.
So do you have to follow all of this? Mm, I would say this is a recipe.
Yeah.
Follow it at first. And
Yeah.
once your energy is strong enough, then you don't really need to follow all of this. However, at first, yes. If you need to open your eyes and read it, yes. All of that.
Thank you.
Thank you for your question. Any other questions? You guys know how to heal yourself? Okay. Just want to, I'll save this for next time, but just want to let you know that yes, Sifu James, kind of shared this methodology for us. And because his interest is in healing, so that's why this model. However, this is actually, it does not necessarily need to be for just healing. It could be for anything. It could be for changing relationships. It could be for changing career. It could be anything. It's just that the columns will be different. And the power of this is that you are the one who can define what the columns are. So let's say if it is, let's say career, then then or work, then or business. So what's important in a business? You need finance, you need the right people, you need the right opportunities, and you need the right market conditions. So those would be your four columns. Then you would just check for each column. If you want to go into business, each column, do you have the right people? Do you have the right, do you have the money? Those things. So this is something that you can use for any purpose. Just that the first one is really for healing because, well, I think we are, I would say my focus is also on healing as well. So, however, you can actually use this for anything. And you can define the columns and you can actually define what each color means for you if you see color. Or if you don't see color, you can actually define, okay, if I feel warmth, is that a yes or a no? You can actually define that because it's really about communicating with your soul. So you are the one, your conscious mind have to communicate to your soul, okay, this is what this is what I this is how you want to be communicated to. So when you set that up, then your soul will work with you. Let's say it would tell you, okay, I am going to give you, let's say if you don't have the right people, I'm gonna give you, the color that you hated most. For example, if I don't like red, then it will give me a red color for things that means that it's not going well. So this is you can define that. And when you define it, then when your soul communicates with you, it will use the right way to communicate with you. So next week, we'll look at something to extend this model.
Question here. On the physical level, you were talking about organs. What about areas where they're not organs, like nervous system or musculoskeletal system?
Yeah, you can do that too.
Can do that too. Okay.
Yeah.
Thanks.
No other questions? Okay.